Have you ever looked at a video on YouTube of someone doing a migration of their entire network infrastructure or revamping their home lab and thought, that's a great idea? Well, I did. And I decided to migrate all of my services from a normal Docker deployment to Docker Swarm. It was painful. To give a little bit of background, I'm running a 3-node Proxmox cluster in my home lab, but I haven't been utilizing it as well as I could be. I had 3 DNS containers, which was great, but I wanted to be running services in high availability, but I haven't really created the environment for that. In my entire cluster, I literally had one singular VM running all of my Docker deployments. Image, Jellyfin, Ghost, etc. So if ever that went down or I made a stupid change to it, I would be screwed. So this project was to help remediate that. Getting Docker Swarm set up was super simple. Well, it should have been, but I ran into issues. First issue I ran into, the VM I was running all my Docker deployments on could initialize the swarm, but the minute I tried to deploy any stack to it, the stack would run, but nothing would be accessible. For instance, first thing I tried to deploy was Portainer, because Portainer is cool. But when the stack came up, the web interface was not accessible. I tried updating my apt repository and other normal fixes to no avail, so I grabbed the latest Ubuntu server ISO and created a new VM. Spun up Docker and Docker Swarm, deployed Portainer, and sure enough, it worked. So now, instead of being able to easily spin up my compose files to a stack, I would have to migrate them all to my new VM and spin them up. Should be easy, right? Then apparently I had a problem with SSH for absolutely no reason at all. This VM didn't want to allow me to authenticate using a username and password despite how many times I edited that etc/sshd config file. After fighting that for hours, I ended up adding my laptop's public key directly into the authorized key file that SSHD references. Bada bing, bada boom. Now I can actually SCP my files into my laptop. Hooray! So I spun up 5 additional Ubuntu server VMs and initialized a swarm between them. Great! I added a network share on my NAS for storing all my Docker configs so that each node of the swarm can access them. Awesome! So it should just work, right? Nope. I ended up running into an issue where my stack couldn't access the bind mount I created. Why? It had the proper permissions. I ran into the issue where it stated that Cloudflare, my DNS provider, was not valid. So I spent hours and even days scratching my head, looking up on traffic forums, searching for an answer. The issue? My traffic YAML file, the file that Docker Compose references for all my entry points, did not like having a full file path for the acme.json file that stores all the certificate details. So I changed that along with the config path, just being straight config.yaml and acme.json, and it worked. Stupid. Spinning up the rest of my services was easy. For Jellyfin, I just added the deploy tag and added my labels under that. Worked great. Image, my photo storage solution, was a little painful due to the fact that anytime I tried to spin it up, it would state that there was empty space between the colons because image references an environment file where you list all of your variables, but it did not like that at all, so I had to map the variables manually in the config file. Not a big deal. So now I have a working swarm cluster and relatively high availability. So if I reboot one node or it goes down, it will spin up my services on another node, and I won't have much downtime. In hindsight, was this worth it? My wife will tell you no, but I'll tell you sort of. Is it truly a solution with redundancy? No. I'm still reliant on a NAS that isn't built great, and this cluster is kind of flaky. Was it a fun project? Yes. Does it need to be fine-tuned? Hell yes. Would I do this again? Absolutely. Why? Because I'm an IT masochist and hate myself so much that I put myself through these painful experiences. If you're still here, tell me about your home lab experiences, or tell me how I could have saved myself all the pain I created. Anyway, that's about it. See ya.